Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to this live stream. This is a Q&A here on the market close. I'm gonna wait for a few more people to trickle in here. What I wanted to do was open up this channel for any questions realistically, because we do have something that's pretty big. We have launched, or we are launching/launched the new futures course, which is it's for me really exciting because it really just encompasses everything that you actually need to futures trade. Because there's a lot of different proponents out there realistically that base it on market structure, price action, all this stuff, all this garbage, pretty much indicators, this and that. And what I've done is over the past few years collected all of the things that I find valuable that actual like prop traders, institutional traders use to trade futures effectively, successfully. And what I've done is broken it down into this pretty extensive, massive course. So I wanted to do this live here to open up a Q&A, give you guys access to that course for a very reasonable discount, and also our room access, and talk a little bit about this course. It's like over the past, I would say, few years, trading has been a little more difficult based on what's been going on with this market. There has been a lot of volatility and movement. However, there are a few things that do stay consistent, which is something that a lot of traders don't understand because they consistently change their strategy if something doesn't work. So what I've done is compiled everything to create these strategies based on just two very simple principles that have been flooding our page here on TradePro. We've had volume profile and we have had order flow based on a DOM. So those two aspects are the main proponents of this course and the main proponents of futures trading. Those are two aspects that over the years, no matter what has happened, have not changed, right? These are still providing value to actual trading and execution, right? And they're not the easiest things in the world, especially a DOM. A depth of market really diverts people away from actually learning futures and looking for something that's easier realistically, right? Like they look at the DOM, they don't get it in the first few tries, and don't understand that it actually takes months to master something like this. And what I've done is broken down the very basics of the DOM, basics to advanced, how to actually use it properly to understand where there are market buyers and market sellers. And I've combined that with a volume profile and created this course, right? A 19 lesson course that has all of this. So as the markets consistently change in terms of movement, how they move, how aggressive they are, the one thing that stays standard is going to be the order flow and volume profile. These two things stay consistent, and you can use these in any market conditions. So I want to open the floor up for this Q&A here. I do want to mention that in the description down below, we actually have a limited time offer until I believe it's the end of the week. There's 3 days. There's a 10% discount on the course itself, and also with that 2 months of room access, where I do share trades, talk about trades, plans, everything, all of that. So, for example, today's plan, if you go and check that out, I even posted it in the free room where I was looking to see if we could hold out the 70 today, 38.70, which was pretty much the low of the day pre-market and during the session. And I was looking at the beginning of the day to hold out 39.05, and it held multiple times until we finally got that break. So if you want plans like those, they're derived from order flow and derived from volume profile, and also step-by-step, even trade breakdowns. Those are going to be available in the room, and you get 2 months of that with our course itself. So not to mention, we do have a free membership side on our page. If you're not too convinced just yet, you can go and just check that out. There's a free member side where we do include some lessons from the course, so you can see what it's all about. And a lot of people have joined that and found it very useful. So if you want to go check that out as well. But realistically, I'm here to answer your questions about trading, order flow, anything. Honestly, you can ask me anything, and this is what I want to talk about today. But I can also talk more about the course if you guys want, and the ever-changing market conditions, give you my opinions on the markets, opinions on order flow, whatever it is. So let me know. There's a comment section here. I'm here to answer said questions, and yeah. Fatty, I appreciate it. Already watched the course. You can pay me twice if you want. All right. Uh, if you wanna, yeah, ask me about my opinion on the market, short term, long term, whatever it is, I'll give you my opinion. If you're looking to make say 5 plus 5 points on average daily, how relevant is the volume profile? Why not market structure and order flow? So the volume profile is relevant because what it does, it breaks down markets in, I would say, one of the simplest forms to follow, because markets, they move in terms of fractals, they move in terms of compressions and expansions. So if you understand compressions and expansions realistically, they create distributions in the volume profile. So there's obviously some rules that go on with these distributions. For example, like you're expected to stay within a distribution, and respect the ledges of it, XYZ, right? If you open here, if you close there, whatever the case may be. So the point is, with volume profiles, you can find these very key distribution levels that will inflect the market, right? And they're worth they're worth way more than 5 points realistically. So you can use order flow alone, but to find the levels, I haven't found any other tool to find key levels of inflection, highs, lows, whatever it is, than the volume profile and a market profile. There's just nothing that beats it. If you want to find levels throughout market structure, like you can try, but it's not that effective, because you find multiple levels that are in between these random areas instead of finding these massive inflection points that are based on a volume profile that can, with order flow, create these longer moves. Order flow alone is great only if you're looking for very few specific things for those larger moves, and those would be stuck traders realistically and massive reoffers or rebids, which is something that I would say is a little more advanced. So generally, scalping on only order flow is fairly typical until you really learn how to read a DOM. Mm, how much should I start off with when funding my own futures account? So this is a very controversial topic because a lot of people look at margin and they think, okay, well, the micros, for example, is like $40 a contract. And then you have the minis, which are $400 a contract, right? And you're thinking, well, okay, I just need like 400 bucks to trade one mini. But the notional value on the futures, on the micro futures, about 25,000 or whatever. Like I'm guesstimating right now, it's around 20 to 25,000 notional value for one contract on the micros, and you 10x that, about 250, 220,000 for one mini future. And that means that the leverage is massive. Leverage is huge on this. So realistically, leverage 300% or whatever it is, the the reality of it is you need a larger account than you think, even though margins are low. That is why discount brokers have such low margins, like AMP, which I use, which is like great. But those discount brokers, their money is made on the churns and their money is made on the commissions. So that's why they offer such low margins to get people with smaller accounts and that can pretty much just churn. So to cut that short, right? IB, for example, Interactive Brokers, excuse me, their margin is like 12 grand for one mini. So I would say if you want to trade, if you're starting off trading micros, I'd say minimum like 1,500 bucks, 1,000 to 1,500 bucks for one micro contract, which is on the lower end. I know a lot of people would be thinking, well, that's even too low. So like anywhere between like 6 and like 8 grand for one mini, honestly. Like I know a lot of people that would say you need at least like 50K to trade minis. So just keep that in mind. Ah, my neck. I don't know if you heard that. Do you mind going over your trading plan? Do you have a loss limit, number of trades, etc.? Like my trading plan in terms of like what I'm looking for in the market, or just like how I structure my actual trades, like how many trades I take, losses, profits, all that. Dave, why did I choose to trade futures over stocks? Because futures are just like extremely liquid, number one. Two, the order flow that you find on futures is a lot easier to read and understand than I would say stocks. Like it's more available, it's more liquid, I would say. You also have lower margins, you have good leverage on them. Like the money, I think, is you need a smaller account realistically. They trade almost 24/7. They trade around the clock really well. So those are my main reasons over stocks. The course includes volume profile. Yeah, yeah, it's a massive. We have a huge section about like 4 or 5 lessons just on volume profile. Everything from just basics to completely advanced. Like with the volume profile, we'll talk obviously like the first breakdown is just understanding what a volume profile looks like. Then we go through distribution theory. We go through how distributions actually move price based on market participants and market interest, and then some obviously level and distribution identification, and then trading plans that are based around those with strategies based around those. Do you recommend prop firm for future trading? That's like it's not a bad idea, honestly. Steven, like if I recommend a prop firm or not, like it's a solid concept. That you pay like a monthly fee and it teaches you risk management because like if you blow out, then you have to like repay the fee and continue like that, right? Realistically, it's like someone's watching you, which is better for less disciplined traders. I don't know what kind of trader you are, but it's like it does help you out with the capital if you don't have the capital to trade, especially starting off and trying the prop route on the online prop route. They're very stringent in terms of the max loss and the trailing losses. So you have to be pretty freaking precise with your trading. Also, like the margins for the accounts, like they don't really add up. Like three lots for like 50K or something is like it's okay, but like it's an okay start, honestly, especially if you don't have the capital. I think it's a decent area to learn, especially discipline, because you can't like really blow out, right? Do I do long-term investing? Yeah, I do. I have a portfolio naturally. Is making 250 to $450 per day possible on the micros? Yeah, it is. I actually traded with someone today, one on one. That's a member at TradePro, and he was up like 90 points, which is over $400 on the micros. So I don't know if Mike's in here, but shout out Mike. You're a swing trader usually. You can swing trade futures as well. It's just the margin goes up for that 1 hour that the market's closed. Like sometimes I'll hold a swing on futures, but I do look for larger moves. Uh, Thanks, Colin. As an educator, tips for developing as a trader faster. Any tips for developing as a trader faster? Honestly, the best tips are I would say like surround yourself with traders that have already done it, obviously, that can teach you the right things. And that's like another thing. That's another segue. Like learn the right shit earlier, right? Like that's the only way. Because if you start fiddling with like random strategies like price action, this, like blah blah, all this like nonsense, then it really hinders that growth process and that development. Like start with something very basic. Like I know I would say the most successful traders right now that I know of trade based on like a volume profile, a market profile, and the depth of market, right? Just the DOM. Some use the footprint as well. So like just combine those like small amount of resources, the ones that actually move the market and have a reasoning to move the market, and start developing from there, right? Be very disciplined, obviously with your trading, but with your journaling and your review of the journal and your growth in terms of your journal, your trading. The journal is like super important. I know a lot of people just throw that shit out back and be like, ah, whatever, I don't need it. But a journal is a huge aspect to developing your trading. Preferred VP charting trading platforms. Any particular advantages to the one platform over another? Does we're getting chart setups for VP? Yeah, so our view, in terms of volume profiles, like trading view is fine, but like trading futures, I use something like Sierra charts. It has like a TPO volume profile mix that we use, and also just a general volume profile that we use. We do provide the chart books as well through Trade Pro Academy. But in terms of volume profiles, like this, volume profiles aren't that hard to find good volume profiles, right? It's a little harder to find a good DOM, a good depth of market, a good footprint, for example. But in terms of volume profiles, um, it like most platforms are like they're fairly similar, but I just use Sierra charts. I use TradingView as well on the side for like larger perspective. Where is this market actually? Yeah, George is still around. He's just very behind the scenes. Market ripped a little until the close, huh? It's okay. Hey, Edward. Okay, so welcome. How long have I been trading? What's your background, or how did you get your experience? That's a pretty good question. I've been trading. How old am I? I've been trading. I want to say like around 6 years, like 6, 7 years maybe. I've been trading, and I started trading with options actually. So I was mainly doing like iron condors and credit spreads on options, and it was just like my account was pretty small, so like it took a very long time to like grow it. I did some directional stuff, like didn't do so well on the directional option side. The credits and iron condors were pretty solid, and then came some volatility. It kind of beat me up a little, and like I was still like progressing with it, but like it wasn't something that was really it didn't really stick with me. So I wanted something that was a little more active, so I started trading futures. I started trading futures probably like in 2018 maybe, so like 5 years ago. And I started actually with Trade Pro Academy. I learned a lot from them and there, but a lot of my success I would attribute to like finding more so with volume profiles and taking the order flow from Trade Pro and looking at it from a different perspective. That's why I'm releasing this course right now. I really found the success once I found those main two things that I did learn from Trade Pro, but I molded them and learned from different places as well to combine them into something that actually creates a system without too much discretion. Obviously, there's going to be some discretion. You are a trader, you are a day trader, you're a human, but I'm trying to limit the discretion using these very simple aspects. And then from there, I decided, well, I have to like this course has to be made based on that because this is how successful people actually trade. Like this is how you actually trade, right? Taking all the crap out. So that's kind of my journey. I've been like retail my whole life. I've just been retail trading my whole life. Like I remember trading futures. I've never blown a futures account, which is great. I've come close, obviously, but um, I'd say my consistency slash success came only within the last like 3 years. Distribution theory is similar to auction theory. Yeah, Juan, it is. Yeah, same, pretty much. Well, so Corey, like market structure, volume profile. Volume profile is just a main, like it's the real component from where market structure comes from. So yeah, like there was that transition for sure. You'll find that they're very similar except for the levels on the volume profile. You really extract like the big main levels from volume profiles in that system. Let me know if you guys have any other things you want to know. I'm gonna do swing trading and long term investing. I find your morning updates very valuable. Oh, I appreciate that, Joe. What do you swing trade? VWAP bands. I don't know what that is. So Neil, you'll have to educate me. Does course each candlestick volume profile per every 5 minute or other linear base candle is the course each. No, I don't use volume profile or volume per candlestick. I don't think that has that much relevance, to be honest. Um, I look at a volume profile and a distribution from a larger perspective, like based on the prior session, prior days, multiple days in a row that create that volume profile. I'm looking for key points of inflection and key distributions that price can trade within and price can reject, because that's how you find those larger moves. And you combine that with the DOM, you find areas to actually get in and why. What's the difference between trading zones and support resistance levels? Craig, nothing. Um, it's you trade and support resistance zones. That's like the main thing that I can say. I also remember you looked at trap traders and balances on footprint. Yeah, Corey, I do. Like we still look at trap traders and balances, but we focus a little more on the depth of market and like delta using that. Like footprints are okay. I was never a big fan of footprints, to be honest, but like there's several reasons, because they're based on movement or based on time, and if you don't have the right interval, it's a little harder to see rather than looking at something like um what is it called, like a dom, for example. Are you trading more micros or more minis? I'll trade more minis for sure. Like if I take breaks, or if I um or if I like have if I take like a break, or if I like look at the market and I don't think there's that much opportunity to risk, I'll switch to micros, but that hasn't been the case for a while. No, I know what a VWAP is, Sunil, but like what's a is that a question, VWAP bands? I don't like really use them. Um how much of your trading is intraday as opposed to swing? Like 90% is intraday, 10% is swing. Maybe maybe 80/20. It was a pristine. What time chart do you use? For levels, I'll use a volume profile that's based on I'll start on a larger scale. Maybe look at an hourly chart, then go down to like a 15 minute, then go to a 5 minute. I like the hourly chart because it presents more data, especially if I can see like weekly and like a month's volume profile to see what that looks like. Maybe even 2 months of volume profile, what that looks like. It gives me very keyed levels and distributions. And obviously, you drop down. I do better with visuals. Is there a section using bookmap as an alternative to Brian? No, because um the DOM, like reading a depth of market is like the visual. This is like it's the bread and butter and like the base of order flow, right? There are heat maps, right, that you can make on Sierra chart. We do have heat maps as well, but like it doesn't show you the reactivity of traders, right? You can see a massive stuck trader or what looks like a stuck trader on bookmap or whatever it is, but like if you don't see the reactivity based on the numbers that come in and how they react, it's not the same. At the beginning of my career, how many hours did I dedicate to trading? So I was a student, so I dedicated like 8 to 10 hours a day, like especially when I was like learning the DOM. But like learning the DOM, I would say if you want to learn the depth of market, you do have to replay, and you have to replay a lot. You do have to make sacrifices in terms of time to actually replay the DOM and really read the DOM. Otherwise, it is a harder tool to master. And especially if you're not good with numbers and looking at them visually, it's going to take a longer time. When does it make sense to move to minis in regards to risk management? So Jazz, like it it makes sense to move to minis. Number one, when the account balance can grow into a mini account balance, meaning like 6 to 10,000 like dollars per contract in your account per mini. Like I think if you can grow it to that using micros, I feel like you've earned the right to trade the minis. In terms of risk management, right? Like that's the main component. Understanding the risk that you can take, like 3 4 points on a mini. Can the account handle that? How relevant is the overnight volume profile to trading RTH? Pretty relevant, Colin. Um, I would say the volume profile, especially like a TPO and volume profile from the RTH, can give you areas where you have maybe poor highs, poor lows, single prints, massive distribution ledges, right? I think it is very valid, especially finding those first trades throughout the day. I do like to combine naturally the larger profile with the ETH profile, but I there is pretty big relevance. Hey Jason, what's up, man? Long time. Yeah, I still use a tick chart. Market's been great, honestly. Like I can't complain about this market movement. I know some of you done. There's no stacking and pulling column. Is there a reason why you don't use them? Yes, Craig. Because they don't like personally, not even personally, like just straight up, they're useless. They don't really tell you that much. Like it's just an extra piece of information that you're looking at that doesn't really matter because all that matters is the market orders, how those market orders move, right? Limit orders and interest doesn't really they don't really matter until they actually trade, and then you're looking at reactivity of how those market orders trade. Ooh, my neck is a mess. Let me know if you have anything else, guys. There's a lot of activity. I'm very pleased with the engagement and the level of questions. Thoughts on oil? Someone asked me about that yesterday, and like I have an opinion on like the larger scale, but like as a day trader or a swing trader on oil, I don't really know to be honest. So it's not the easiest question for me to answer. I don't really track oil that much. I'll track like the ETF, XLE, and just general energy companies. Um, Oil's been getting its ass beat, especially with inflation dropping lower. Like there probably is more downside in oil, especially those energy names. With the what seems to be like a Fed pivot, there's probably more downside in that market. Once oil takes a beating, and the energy space takes a beating, that's usually the last domino to fall in this massive quote unquote eruption of the market. So if energy does fall and does crater and gets beat up really aggressively, that could be the final drop for the market. So I think there's still some more downside in oil. Appreciate it, Al. Thanks for coming by. A lot of individual stocks. I'm just looking at them right now on the session closed green today. Like Apple, like that's another thing. You look at tech names, like to go on a little side rant here, but tech names as well. They've been holding up extremely well in this market, even though there has been downside. We have seen financials just get a beat down and get sold off super aggressively. But overall, like a lot of these things are still trying to hold, which can bring a little pop before we do get any more downside. One of my favorite names, IWM, is holding 171s right now, which is a key area. That's something that you have to watch as in terms of correlations, which is another thing that we were doing last week. We opened our futures room. I talked about this a lot in our Discord. So we had our voice on Discord and we live traded all of last week. So that's something. But let me know if you have any final questions here. We've been going for quite a while. Geez. I appreciate that, Edward. Is trading bonds easier? No. Trading bonds is probably the hardest thing. The bond market is the most liquid for sure, but like trade no, I wouldn't say trading bonds is easier by any means. Or sorry, not the most well, yeah, probably the most liquid, but the largest. If you want like quote unquote easier, the easier starting market is going to be the S&P 500. It's very liquid. It's not very expensive. It has the micros. So if you want, it's the most liquid equity market. If you want something like easier, quote unquote, to start off with, which I think is great, like something that's simpler to understand, I highly, highly recommend the S&P 500 futures. It's something that is the only thing that I pretty much trade when it comes to futures. How do you prepare for trading futures and options within the same trading day? Why don't you trade future options? Because it just gets too complicated, Craig. Like trading future options, like what? There's no point in doing that. I'll just trade futures and then something that comes in on options, like I'll take it because options I like to just sell credit these days. Like I'll just collect the credit on the option on a day-to-day basis, so then just have that credit as just like income. And then futures, I'll do active directional moves. If there's a move in some names on options, I'll do it. But like I mainly use it to generate credit here and there, some directional and swings. Yeah, it has been crazy because I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news, but banks are on the verge of just exploding. There's a lot of liquidity issues. The Fed is pretty much bailing out banks. The Fed has also pivoted fairly hard in terms of the expected rate cuts by the end of the year. 100 bips expected to cut by December, which was not at all on the table. In the midst, inflation is still running fairly high. Yeah, there is a possibility, Joe, in terms of a swing slash investing. Like we do have an investment channel, which I do throw my ideas in there, but it's not like necessarily a big course. You have a video on option credits. Yes, I do, Sunil. Yeah, Craig, you can email me about that even. Victoria at TradeProAcademy.com. When you say credits, does that also mean premium? Yeah, yeah, Pineapple Rich. Like, I mean, like credits, like selling, like collecting premium. Could you do a bookmap class to help learning slash memory impaired? Brian, like I appreciate that, but like no, because I don't use bookmap, dude. I don't like it just be a lie if I did it. Like I have no idea what the hell bookmap is. I can just do Dom stuff. You have any opinion on cryptocurrencies? Absolutely not, brother. No, I don't at all. Yeah, there is, Logan. Like there's a lot of buy and sell that just come in like aggressively, reactively, but you can find those areas using a volume profile, right? Even if they're erratic, like I'm still finding great moves. Trade one lot micro using your super fade levels, rec one targets, OS. Dwayne, I am going to have to ask you to explain this question and I will answer. Like recommendations on targets, like point wise, how many points you're looking for, when to get out, basically. That is a loaded question. Like, if I'm like, it depends. I don't know. It really depends. Like, when to get out. Like, if the Dom is still bearish or bullish, you stay in. If the levels are hit, right, and they're broken, you stay in. Pretty far into the new course, but haven't gotten that. Trailing. Like, how to trail? Ta-ta-ta. So, in order for, yeah, like, they're like towards the end in the last part, like part five, I think. Um, I don't know if you've gotten there. Let me just plug this computer in before it dies. I don't know if you've gotten there, but part five talks about like trailing, talks about risk management, how to trail using a DOM, so on and so forth, especially based on volume profile. If that's what you're asking, like how to get those like larger moves and how to trail like a little better. Like you'll see it, it is in there. How feasible is it to trade futures with a full-time job only to trade early in the AM prior to market open and late nights? Honestly, Mary, like it does depend. Hey, good work, Dwayne. Mary, it does depend on what time zone you're in as well. I think Europe is the best time zone of all to trade because I can trade the overnight session, I can trade the US session. It's just great. The overnight session, the evening session, I don't think there's that much value in it unless you're trading like like around London open times and London trading times. But if you're trading pre-market, like even like 6 a.m. Eastern time. I'm talking Eastern time right now. Like 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. There are solid moves, and it is very feasible to be honest. Like I have pre-market trades almost every single day. What do you like to improve on trading wise? I like to improve on scaling up. Like I don't really trade that much size to be honest. So I think that could be a big improvement there. Between the DOM and the footprint, is it even worth looking at the footprint? Like until you master the DOM completely, I'm just gonna say no. What trading platform do I use for futures? I use Sierra Charts. So Sierra Charts is fairly cheap on a month-to-month basis. It doesn't have a lifetime membership like trade like Ninja Trader, but Ninja Trader is honestly shit. So I highly recommend Sierra Charts for trading futures. I know a lot of people use Jigsaw for their DOM, but I've been able to find a DOM that's very, very close to Jigsaw's. So it resembles it. So there's just Sierra Charts. Mhm. How do I really feel about Ninja Trader? It's just like I haven't found anything of value on Ninja Trader. That's about it. I know some people who have replicated a lot on Ninja Trader that you have on like Sierra charts or whatever, and they like it looks pretty good. But I'd rather use Sierra charts. Let me know if you have any other questions here. I've been going for quite a while. I'm just looking at some of these notes that I had. Maybe there's something that I missed, which is like probably not, but whatever. Mm-mm-mm-mm. On a major inflection, do you await a head fake sometimes or and go with a bigger stop? You can do that, Dwayne. Like you like there is a lot of the time a head fake, but like that's why I lean on the Dom because you can start to see if there are like big aggressive like for example if we're talking about a top like we're talking about a massive resistance point if they're just obviously to get into that resistance point you have to have like buy rebid on the bid side and at one point right you're probably going to get stuck bids or you're going to get an aggressive bid that shoots up and gets reoffered right it's you don't have to anticipate head fakes right you can just wait and see how they shape up on the dom. You can also just like throw in orders at inflection points with wider stops and hope for the best. Like that sometimes does play in and works, but you have to have huge, huge areas of inflection. You have to be very confident in those levels. What are the most popular news events and where to find them? Arturo, the most popular news events are going to be related to the Fed, the Federal Reserve. You can find them on like things like Financial Juice, News Squawk, Forex Factory, especially Forex Factory. They lay out the news events that come out on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, and you can differentiate between high impact, medium impact, and low impact. Anything Fed related realistically is going to be a big news event. So you have like inflation data, which is CPI and PCE are the two main ones. PPI is just a follower. So well, PPI kind of shapes up the other ones, but it comes in after. So we already have the data from CPI and PCE. Those are two big ones right now. Also, based on economic conditions, you can look at GDP, how that shapes up. Any Fed event, so the FOMC meeting minutes, the FOMC itself, right? Rate changes, when Jerome Powell comes on, when Fed speakers that vote, well, most Fed speakers realistically move the market. Yeah, Edward, I'm gonna be jumping in the futures room more often for sure. Roar, roar. Craig, will this be a monthly or quarterly thing? Probably neither. I don't know. We'll see. If there's interest in it, why the hell not? But like this is I just wanted to talk to you guys about the new course and like why I decided to make it. Well, obviously, it had been promised for a very long time, not by me, but this was a perfect opportunity to show you guys what you really need to be a futures trader and actually trade futures the correct way. As a new trader, is it worth to scout for? No, never look to scout for 2 to 3 ticks. Just no. Like as a new trader, learn to get like 4 or 5 points at a time, right? Just consistently gain that profit. And then you start looking to scale up in contracts, consistently take the full size off the table, look to trail after you've gained confidence, right? Grow your beard and let me cut it again. uh, that's actually a ridiculous story. So I'm in Sofia, Bulgaria right now. I'm going to Sicily for a month on Sunday, actually. I think this weekend, anyways. So I did have a beard until fairly recently, or more so of facial hair, not too much of a beard. And I was in an apartment, one of my friend's apartments actually, and the power had gone out. So the power was out for like 2 days, and I'm like, you gotta fix this. I'll have to go to like cafes or like other people's houses to like work and do things. So the power is out, and I start to shave my beard. I'm using the electric trimmer, and it dies, but there's no power, so I can't plug the thing in. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just gonna use like a straight edge, which I never use. I'll never clean shave my face. It just kills me. So I use a straight edge and then like I have hair and it just starts like ripping it out. So I just do like 2 strips like this. And I'm like, shit, I can't do this. I can't do this. I only have soap. Like this is impossible. So I go to the store like 3 blocks away with just like a patch in my face. And the clerk is just looking at me and then sees what I have in my hand. She's like, ah, okay. I'm like, this is so Bulgaria. Like this, I gotta leave. Is a 2 to 1 ratio. Bro, I'll fly you out and you're not gonna wait. You won't wait to fly back home. 2 to 1 ratio, okay to start with. Yeah, for example, if you have like a 3 point stop looking for a 6 point profit on like your first, yeah. It was like 3 more minutes, like so it's 45 minutes. This is long as hell. Holy shit. Good work. You guys kept me entertained and engaged. I honestly didn't think it'd be this long. Can one trade for a while in the same room as a form of hand holding while learning? You want me to click the buttons for you, Abby? Is that what you're asking? Like I talk about trades and like shape up trades and trade ideas, which is whoever's in the room, let me know. Like, do I not just like say trades and talk about trades and explain trades? The next step of that is me clicking the button for you. So that's where I draw the line. Like it's not like I'm gonna say it's not like a signal service, but I do call out trades that I'm looking to take realistically. Am I looking for any trades overnight? I don't know, man. No, not right now. I don't know what this market's at. I'll look for trades overnight when I get up, like which is for you, like shit, like 2, 3 a.m. Eastern time. Like I'm not gonna just like open something now. It's like 4:45 p.m. Eastern time. I have no idea. Like I'll probably like if there's something, it's gonna be like the London Open, realistically. Like from now, this is another thing. If you're looking to trade overnight, this is actually a good point. So I'm glad you brought it up. But if you're looking to trade overnight, like realistically, sitting down at like 6 p.m. is not a good move, like Eastern time. Like it's a waste of time. Like unless there's some crazy ass volatility and movement, like it's just a waste of time. If you want to trade overnight, look at the London Open. Like when when the London Open hits, and like throughout that period of time, there's going to be some opportunity realistically. If it comes to trade futures only, are two monitors necessary? Yeah, you could have a big one too. It doesn't really matter. What would a game plan look like without the DOM? It looked like using distribution theory and volume profiles with a fat stop, like a 10-point stop realistically. Have you dabbled in Eurex stuff? No, the time zones are honestly like really good for just trading US futures. Like like I said, like you have the London Open here, you have the US Open, and like by the time London closes and US gets to lunch, it's like the evening and you can just like F off. You find your stops need to be bigger lately in order to not get taken out. Edward, this week a little, yes. Um like they have been like today I traded 3-point stops, but Monday, Tuesday, what day is it? Wednesday? So only 2 days. Only 2 days I did trade 4-point stops. That's what I was mentioning to you guys. Like I'll use a 4 or 5 point stop to start the week because of the volatility from the expected movement. Um, yeah, the Dom, like that's the thing, Dwayne. Like, how long have you been looking at the Dom, right? And I'll tell you the honest truth. Yeah, Avi, like there is a lot of 2 years. You've been looking at the Dom, like the same Dom that I have, like with those market orders. But yeah, Avi, like with us, like I'll talk about trades for sure, especially in the room and even in Discord. Not my okay, so you haven't looked at anything then. 7 months. Okay. So if you've been using my DOM with the explanation and like the way it's supposed to be used for 7 months, like I think that's like an area where you should be fairly acquainted with what's going on. You might not be exactly at the level of like finding every single trade and understanding why, but you should be like moving along quite nicely. I better to use wider stops or just enter the trade again if you get taken out. And that is a good question. So, hmm. So that depends because there's no reason realistically to use more than a 4-point stop on the S&P 500 futures. If you're if you're getting stopped out with 4 points like all the time, then it's not the stops problem. It's a your entry problem. Like I don't think there's a need to have more than a 4-point stop if you're day trading ES futures, right? Like that accounts for like the whipsaw movement in the ES. So I don't even know if that answers your question, to be honest. Does it? Like if you have to have wider than 4 points, I don't think that I'd rather enter again, I guess. Shit, I don't know. Yeah, for sure, Craig. I will. 100%. Why not? My workspace is remote right now. I use one laptop, two laptops, and I'll trade off one screen on futures. Like I don't really need that much else. I'll share like I'll put it in like the even like community.tradepro academy, like the free Discord room. If you ask me there, like I'll throw that shit in there, no problem. Um, what else? But yeah, damn, this thing's been going on for 50 minutes. I don't know. I just been Been having fun. So you advise 10 tick rejection candle and to get in on the move with some reactive buying. So like that's the thing with a 10, like I talk about the 10 tick rejection because it's like it's a very understandable point to have as confirmation. I don't include it if I because I trade a lot on the DOM, right? I don't include it in my analysis if I'm trading mainly DOM, right? It's a starting step for newer traders to get a little more acquainted with confirmation. So yes, I would say yes to your answer where you get the 10 tick rejection. And while that happens though, because when you get a 10 tick rejection, for example, that's 2.5 points. So while that happens, you have to be looking at this DOM and understanding, okay, here are the sellers, here are the stuck longs, or here are the buyers, here are the stuck shorts, right? You have to be thinking of those things as that 10 tick rejection happens and looking for areas to enter, right? The thing is, when you start learning the DOM a little better and getting more acquainted with it, realistically, you don't need the 10 tick rejection. You're just looking at the DOM and you're thinking, okay, boom, boom, boom. Here are the buyers, here are the sellers, here are the reactive orders, right? Here's the absorption, whatever the case is, let me enter, right? And you're not thinking about the 10 tick that much. So yeah, drop some final questions, but in the description down below, we do have 10% off of the futures course for you guys. It's limited until the end of the week, so go check that out. And 2 months of the room where I'll be trading live with Fatty. I do talk about trades. Like if you guys are interested in that stuff, like I'll call trades like way before they happen and why. Obviously, it's not a signal service, but there is also on our website that should be public soon. I don't know, but there is a list of trades that I've been calling out for the past since the year started, so you can go check that out. But also check out our free member site if you want to learn more about the course and you're not ready to like fully commit. There are free lessons in there, so you go check that out. It's on the free member side of our website. And obviously join community.tradeproacademy.com. I post trade plans there on a daily basis. Brian, Brian with Bookmap. Dude, like I have never looked at Bookmap. Like I've never looked at Bookmap. It's not something that I need. What would you say to a person who's skeptical of this trading thing? Up to you. It's your life. I don't have to convince anyone about anything. Whatever you make of it, brother. Like I don't know. You see Michael Burry's tweet. Do you think bottom for the market is coming soon? Yeah, Ian, I actually do, honestly. Like, if this shit can't kill the market, I don't think we're gonna get that like aggressive downside. Just like it's. I think there's just gonna be a pivot. We're gonna slowly cycle inflation again. There's gonna be the same shit over and over. The next few years of public company gains are gonna be mediocre at best, but we're probably not gonna see that cataclysmic world-ending crash. Okay, so Brent, let me ask you this. Why do you think it's time I looked at Bookmap when it's something that hasn't me not knowing Bookmap hasn't hindered my trading at all? Like for like an honest question, like why would I do that? Ryan, I think it is I think I want to say yes. The NLP course does. I want to say yes. Whatever. If it doesn't, I've already said yes, so yeah, there you go, Edward. But like genuinely, like I'm not trying to shit on anyone or anything or like whatever you use, that's great. But like I just want to understand from your perspective if someone has something that is of value, like for example, if I'm using like the DOM and I'm like I haven't I haven't wavered from the DOM, like what would the benefit of me introducing something foreign to my already successful trading strategy do to me? Like it's one of those things where that's like a good point, with like a slight tangent, where it's one of those things where you're looking to change things because the current thing isn't working that much. So like that's why people jump from different like areas of trading and different things. So I would like this is one of the main reasons why I did make this course to like break down volume profile and DOMs in like the most basic form, the only thing that you realistically need to trade futures. You keep your account growing or play or a safe place to take profits and buy real estate per se. Yeah, I'll take money out of my account and buy stupid shit with it for sure. I love doing that. That's why I'm in Europe. No, but I buy stocks. I don't buy real estate. I have a condo in Toronto. That's about it. There's more money in the stock market than there is in real estate. And I have no desire to be a slumlord. Does the DOM also include the footprint chart in Sierra? The DOM is like it's just the depth of market chart. Like the footprint's a separate chart, right? And so uh the footprint, yeah, you can make a footprint chart on Sierra. Like I'm looking at like I can probably make one. All right, I appreciate that opinion, Brian. Like it makes sense for people who aren't that versed in it. How have you found Bookmap in your trading? DOM and VP are far superior over Bookmap. I've used both. Managing real estate seems like it is. That's what my main thing was. People are like, no, you just like hire people, and I'm like, eh. The thing is, real estate stocks, like I haven't looked at them that much, but I don't think real estate's in for that crazy of growth in the next like few years. Like I could be wrong. I'm not a real estate expert. That's the issue too. So like it just seems like more of a headache for physical real estate for me. Like I've got one condo. That's about it. Maybe I'll buy like one or two more things, but not to like slumlord out realistically. It's a good question, Joe, and I don't really have an opinion on real estate stocks. I think on the short term there is more downside, but there could be a very fast reversal, especially if the Fed pivots and they make borrowing cheap again. We Do you trade REITs? I do not. I do not trade REITs. What's like? Give me a ticker symbol for one of your favorite REITs or like whatever. Don't have one. What'd you ask me then? Someone drop a REIT. Hmm. That's an interesting point, Ian. Like I said, I'm not too versed in it, so I don't want to be lying to you guys. Craig, absolutely not. I think that's BS. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't like believe in shit like that. Like, I'm not superstitious whatsoever. I could say I haven't lost a trade in like XYZ days, and like that's not gonna affect me. That's not true either. Like I have losing trades probably every day. Where do I invest my time and money? Besides trading, I love hanging out with friends. That's not really an investment, but like I just love like chilling. Honestly, I just love doing like nothing and like being around people. In terms of investing money, I just invest in stocks. Like I just have a portfolio, and I'll swing trade options. Just pump cash into a portfolio. What industry do you see more future based on this economy? Probably like of diversity of different tech names, like Nvidia, for example, like tech names that are like um, growing on the tech side naturally. They're doing more R&D, right? Things like AI. AI could be complete like nonsense, but companies that are continuously striving to improve on the tech basis, like I think there's value there. I think cybersecurity is going to have a lot of value as well. Um, What else? Yeah, that's about it. But shit, we've been doing this for an hour, so I really, really appreciate everyone coming out to this and the massive engagement. Like, I'm really happy that we got this much engagement because the worst thing is to like come out and like the engagement's like super low. Um, so it really means a lot. So I really appreciate everyone that's like put in comments, questions, everything. And if you guys want to see what this is all about, you guys can check us out. We also have just the individual trading room. Uh, Obviously has a 7-day money back guarantee where you can jump with us on Discord and live every single day. But there's a description down below. You have the offer for that futures course that is done at the end of this week. So 2 months of the room with 10% off. So go check that out. And I'll answer these final questions here. Do I think that AI is going to change future of trading? I think it has the potential to do so, right? Like HFTs and like other algos already have done that. AI can as well. It does have that possibility if it gets like super advanced. Like there is that possibility there. Yeah, I am, Evan, because I have property and a bunch of shit in Canada. Tax implications, capital gains. Half of the gains are added to your taxable personal income. So, like for example, using just simple numbers here, if you make 100K trading, 50 of that is added to your personal income, and then you get taxed on that as if it were personal income. You have a timetable to walk away from trading. Thanks for doing this. A timetable. I usually leave after like 11, 12, and then just come back, see if anything's moving. I could trade all day too, but like it's kind of a pain in the ass. Could you suggest an alternative Dom to Sierra? Yeah, Jigsaw. So thank you all. I appreciate that. Come check me out at community.tradeproacademy.com, TradePro, blah, blah, links in the description. And I really appreciate you guys coming out for this. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day, great evening, depending on where you are, great morning, all that good stuff. And you can ask me questions in Discord too. It's open there, right? Community.tradeproacademy.com. You can ask me anything. It's going to be the same shit. I'm going to answer you guys. Um, I love answering. I'll help you guys out. You ask me about anything, volume profiles. I can throw pictures and shit in there too. So let me know. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon. Yeah, John. I don't know if I'm coming back to Canada anytime soon, but I'm in Europe. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you and take care.